Hey, it's Ashley here, and welcome to another episode in my kitchen reno series. Finally, we are on episode 2, and today I'm going to be showing how I made over my kitchen island. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so real quick before I start this, so I'm going to explain what I'm doing. So this island right now is really plain Jane looking. And you guys know I'm all about character, so I'm gonna add some boards on here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be getting rid of this trim piece here. So it's a trim piece on this side. I know it's a trim piece over here too. And then there is I believe it's a trim piece right here too. Okay, no, it's not. So see, these don't have those trim pieces and I don't need those pieces. So I'm just gonna take those two off. And then I'm also gonna take the shoe molding, I believe that's what you call it. I'm gonna take this off. And I might keep it, but I need to get another piece because over here, it has like a gap. So I have to fix that. So that's why I'm taking this off. And then I'll take the molding off, and then I'll start to add the boards on here and then paint. Okay, so the first thing I did, of course, was I took my measurements. So I also did some sketches, and if I find them, I think they're on my iPad somewhere, I will definitely pop them in. So I kind of had this genuine idea of how I wanted this to look, didn't know how it was gonna work, and that all depended on these measurements. So that's why I'm coming here, and I, of course, am taking the measurements of the whole island. So the boards that I'm going to be using are the poplar boards. I love to use these. They're very inexpensive and there's so many different things that you can do with them. So I had a ton of them already, and then I just had to buy a few more for this island. So once I got my measurements of the spacing, I just used one piece of the poplar board and I just attached it with some painter's tape. And then from there, I started to measure out the spacing between all of the rest of them. And then I just added the blue tape so I can remember where it's supposed to be. Perfect. Because then this is going to be our other end piece. So we're gonna be able to fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's actually gonna be 6. So on this side, so I counted for 5 on this side with my measurements, but now since I'm gonna have these edge pieces, it's making it 6. So over here, since it's at 5, I was gonna do 4 over here. So this is probably gonna make it 5, right? Okay, I'm thinking too hard. Yeah, so whatever, we'll figure it out. And now I'm going to move that end piece and put it on this side so I can do this side. Okay, so when I thought about it over here, I felt like if I had an end piece, this same piece over here, it would look a little weird because then I'll have to figure out how to close the gap, which I'm pretty sure I could probably find a molding piece to do that. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna keep that piece here, and then I'm gonna come and move this over the amount of space that I measured out and then go from there. Okay, so like I said, I thought that I was not gonna do it this way, but I actually ended up, I am gonna add a piece right here, but here I'm just measuring it out a different way. But there will be 2 pieces conjoined, which I'll show you later on in this video, and it worked out perfectly, so yeah. But anyways, I'm just still going around and I'm marking my measurements, but this totally switched up, and you will, again, see that later in this video. So now I'm just taking the boards and I'm just kind of putting them in place, just making sure this is exactly what I want. So the next thing I did was I did get rid of the shoe molding. It was just messed up in some areas. So anyways, I am getting rid of this and I used a different trim piece. I forgot the name of the trim piece. I'll pop it up here if I remember, or I'll just put it in the description. But anyways, yes, so I'm just taking this off carefully. It was fairly easy to remove this. And again, I'm gonna show you in the next part of this video me cutting out the new trim pieces that I got.
So I also took off all of those edge pieces that I said, the edge trim pieces. They were really easy to come off, so all of them that were on the island, I removed those. And then finally, oh my gosh, it took so long for us to get this dishwasher, y'all. It was ridiculous, and I was washing dishes, and I'm not a fan of washing dishes. But we finally got our dishwasher in, and so we installed that too. All right, and here I am. I'm putting down this new trim piece. It worked out perfectly too, because the width of it at the top was like the same width as the poplar boards, which was perfect. So I'm just marking where I need to cut this and taking it to my miter saw, of course, and cutting out the angles that I need. I cannot stand cutting angles, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I went around the island and I just started to cut out my pieces and place them where they needed to be. So after that, I started to mark my poplar board where I needed to cut those. So fairly easy, just marking my position, going, cutting it, and bringing it back in, making sure it looks good on the island. Okay, so after I got all of these into position, I was contemplating on how I really wanted this to be. So this is what I kind of wanted it to be like, because I didn't want to cut angles. But again, I was like, no girl, you wanted to look good, Ashley, so you're gonna do the angles. So that is what I ended up doing. So I did do the original plan that I wanted to do, and I did like these these pieces up in like a V motion. So I had to cut the angles and all that stuff. And honestly, it started to go fairly smoothly when I started to like get into my groove. And I did this for the entire front side of the island. Okay, so this is what it looks like after I got all of my pieces cut and placed. I just used painter's tape to keep them in place. And then the next thing I did was I just started to nail down my trim pieces all the way around the island. Okay, so after I nailed the trim pieces on, the next thing I did was I started to, of course, nail everything else onto the island. So I did the straight pieces, and after I did the straight pieces, I did the like V slanted diagonal whatever pieces. And I should have used a level, but I didn't. I just used my eye, and honestly, I have a good eye, so they were pretty straight. So I went around the island and I just started to do my thing, and this went by really fast. So real quick, I just want to show how I did this part. So I literally just joined two of the pieces together and one was overlapped. So I did it like this because then I can take my putty and I can seam up the line and you won't even see it, and it'll just look like it's flush together, because at this point I did not have my table saw and I did not want to use my circular saw to cut anything. So I did it like this and it worked out perfect.
Okay, so this is what it's looking like so far. So I've added all of the boards up. So the one thing that I'm dealing with right now is I don't know how to finish the ends. So if I do the ends the same way like how I've done the rest of them, on this side, since the width is not the same between the pieces, these are gonna be shorter. So now I'm like, is that gonna look weird? Maybe I should just not put that and then have a line, or just maybe just like, I don't know, block it out, have it like this. Because this is how this side looks. So I'm like, maybe I should just leave it like that, or maybe leave it like this and put the line down the middle. I don't know, because I don't know. I feel like it might look weird, you know, because it's just so much shorter than the rest of the pieces. And most of the time on people's islands, the things that the side parts are different from like if they have something on the inside or the outside or whatever. So I think it would be fine just to either leave it alone or just have that one line just coming down the middle.
So with that, as you can see, I just decided to kind of outline the sides of the island, because I just didn't want too much going on. And again, that piece would have been short because of the size of the end pieces. So this just worked out fine. So I just outlined my side island, and I liked how it looked because it was just very nice and plain on this side, and then you had the other pattern look on the opposite side. So it worked out, and I like how it worked out. So now the next step is to putty everything up. So any of those like little gaps like that, all I had to do was take the putty and that will fix that, no problem. And then also covering up any of my nail holes, I went around and just started to putty this thing up. So if you ever have any gaps like this when you are doing angles or anything like that, don't worry too much about it, as long as it's not like a big huge space, because you can take your dap and you can just start to putty everything up and it'll look nice and smooth once you sand it down and paint it. Okay, so this side is completely done. Oh my gosh, it looks 100 times better, and it's not even painted yet. So I done this side, so I'm prepping this whole side so I can start to finish just this side of the island first before I start on the top cabinets. So I'm gonna sand down, I'm gonna sand this down, and then I'm gonna prime it, and then I'll start to paint, and then I'll start to work on the back cabinets. All right, and like I said, yes, I did work on those back cabinets, y'all. I cannot wait to share me transforming those cabinets because they look so much better now. But anyways, as you can see, I am just taking my block sander and I am sanding this down. I should have definitely had like a shop vac in here because you see all the debris, but I didn't. I just went ahead and I sanded all this down, and then I had to like vacuum and all that good stuff. So anyways, I went around the island and I just started to sand it basically. So as I just previously mentioned, I am now just vacuuming up everything that needs to be vacuumed. And then after I did that, I started to caulk the seams. So I did this around the whole island. Honestly, I kind of like doing this because it's just fun, you know, just to see it like close up and then just everything comes together. I love this part. Okay, so after I did that, I then just wipe down everything, start to clean up my area and get ready for painting. And then after I wiped it nice and dry without all the dust and everything, I started to add my bin primer. You guys know I love to use this. I really wanted to use this because it had that like reddish orangish undertones and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I'm about to prime this. So that is exactly what I did. And I did the whole island, and I'm pretty sure I did 2 coats. So the next thing I decided to do, since I put the paint on, now you can see the grain of the wood very well. So I just started to go around and I took my putty and I started to putty in all of those areas. And then after that, of course, I came back in and I sanded everything smooth. And then I said that I did another coat, but obviously looking at this, I did not do another coat, and I just went ahead and I started to paint this with my Fusion mineral paint. This is my first time using Fusion and I absolutely love it, and I absolutely love this color. It is eucalyptus and it is so beautiful, and I did the whole island this color and I'm just so in love. I love it so much. I will have this color linked down below if you love it too. But yeah, this paint was really easy to use. I think I used about 2 of these to do this island, if I can remember. I'm pretty sure I used like 2 of these to do it, and I just took my time and I rolled it, and I think I did, I'm pretty sure this, for real y'all, I did like 2 coats on this island. And that is it. That is all I did to transform this island. I absolutely love how this turned out. It is just such like a statement thing when you walk in the kitchen and you're just like, oh, that island is cute, girl. Especially because it's not like an island where you like have chairs and people can sit in. It's just like an island that was just like plain. So I just could not just paint it. So I love how this turned out. I hope you guys did too. If you have an island like this, or if you have some other thing, or I don't know, in your kitchen like this is something that you can do. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below to let me know what you think, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.